What should one do in their 20s to avoid regrets in 30s and 40s? Always know that change is an option. Many people, myself included, start down a path and think that, since I committed to that path, it's the only path for me. Don't get caught in that thought process. If a choice, career, location, relationship, etc. doesn't feel right down the road, know you can make a new one. It may be uncomfortable at first, but you can make it through, and likely for the better. A friend was a tar at a top 3 business school, described his sole job to be teaching MBA students not to succumb to sunk cost mentality. Apparently that's a $100K/year piece of advice. Don't get into credit card debt. And more fundamental, don't spend money you don't have, period. Drink enough water. Take care of your back. This needs to be higher up. No one ever thinks about their back, but it's so easy to mess it up. And it can be bad. Yep. 34 and seeing a physical therapist for mine. Oh. And take care of your knees too. Learn how to budget. Even if it's just a simple Excel or Google Sheets file with one column of income and one of expenses. When you see everything you buy in a month next to each other, you realize where you can save money pretty well. How do I do that? I have an Excel sheet and budget out every 2 weeks. I started after I graduated college and don't regret it. Bend your knees when picking stuff up. Underrated one. Especially if your job has you sometimes picking shit up. Sunscreen. Long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no merit other than my own meandering experience. Moisturize, or you'll crack faster. 3 minor lessons black people taught me that I hold dear. 1. Moisturize. 2. Use a rag to wash skin. Nothing else works as well. 3. White socks make me look like a ducking dork. I gotta disagree with the rag. It doesn't exfoliate at all. I'm West African and grew up using the body net. Went to college and tried loofahs. Nope. And tried the rag. Definitely no. The rag didn't do anything for me. It still confuses me how people shower with it to this day. Invest in yourself by making healthy choices both physically and financially. Included in this, learn to cook. It's physically and financially healthy. Go see your favorite musical acts when they are young, together, and / or alive, and not selling out to price arena tours. This a good one. Didn't expect anyone to say this. So true though. Makes me wish I saw Linkin Park with Chester still alive. Or The Prodigy with Keith. Really sad about never seeing Chester. Don't smoke. Don't drink every day. Exercise. Eat healthy. Save your $sign and invest. Don't marry crazy regardless of how good the sex is. Note, everything here is gender neutral. Bruh, I don't want to be dehydrated. Don't listen to this crazy man. Stay hydrated. Learn how to be independently happy. So, how? I'm in my 20s and actively working on this myself. One thing I have found helpful is self-reflection. A lot of it starts when you begin to piece together your past, your actions, your present, and the thoughts and emotions associated with the decisions you've made. Basically learning to show empathy and understanding for the mistakes as well as the good decisions you've made. In terms of self-reflection as well, my methods have varied, but I will always recommend trying to practice some kind of mindfulness. It can be yoga, meditation, or even something as casual as walking through a quiet place and paying close attention to the things around you and the way your body feels. When I cultivate mindfulness, I'm able to later find myself in that space of self-reflection much easier and with much more success. Then, it's about spending time alone, reconnecting with things that you used to enjoy, in particular things that aren't social media and Reddit, trying new things as well. Once you start to feel comfortable in your own mind more often, growing that empathy for yourself, it becomes much easier. You are the one who will always be there for yourself. You are the one who can take the best care of yourself. Those thoughts begin to feel real as you go along. This may not be helpful, but this is some of my own experience. I find myself more isolated than most anyone I know, and basically had to break down completely in order to heal from the codependent mentally ill bullshit I found myself in. It's incredibly freeing to find things that can build you up again even from the darkest moments. And it just all starts by turning inward. Weird wording. But literally thinking about yourself as a kid and sending love to that part of yourself and reassuring yourself you're there to take care of you is an interesting thought experiment I found to have unique results as well. Make sure that if you have a relationship with someone you actually nail down the long-term goals and agree on them. Like kids. How exactly will that work? Marriage? Find your deal breakers and take them seriously. From 20 to 30 the time really flies and you don't want to miss it. Cries in single. Single is not bad. Most relationships fail miserably at that age and usually bring a long-term penalty, a child. You're better than most people at your age and still young. You dodged both the teen parent and the sour divorce bullet. Celebrate it. Protect your hearing. Wear earplugs at concerts and don't always crank up the music in your car. I've always been careful because most of my family already has tinnitus. Still ended up with it. Gene sucks. I also have a stupid tinnitus even though I have protected my hearing whenever I needed. The brain is a funny thing. You can get tinnitus from stress as well. Everyone, don't drink or do drug. Me. Doesn't drink or do drugs. Still regrets 20s. Drugs are fun. Fuck that noise. Just don't do the hard drugs that you EAly get addicted to. I think it's good to not use drugs as vices either. Like if you want to enhance some creative task or socialize, why not? When it becomes an everyday thing, that's bad. Everybody has regrets. You can't avoid them all. However, take chances, do things, and don't stagnate. Regrets are part of life. You eventually learn to let go of them. Though rare, there are some that you can't let go of. I have only one. I don't like to talk about it, but due to the nature of this thread, I'll share. Like many people, I grew up, got a job, moved across country for a good paying career. That means I was over 1,000 miles from my family. I kept saying to myself, next year, I'll use vacation to visit. But I didn't. Instead I used vacation for time with my new family, wife, and kids. Or just to relax after work stress. And I kept telling myself next time I'll go down and visit. Until I got a call from my grandma that my mom was in the hospital and it was bad. So I took a long weekend to visit. My mom wasn't just in the hospital. She was on her deathbed and unresponsive. Grandma was also in the hospital, though fully herself and able to talk, despite the pain. However, she too was on her deathbed, so the long weekend turned into a month of funerals and arrangements. And all I can think afterwards is, I could have gone down there in a time to visit. Yes, travel's difficult and expensive. And of course I want to spend time with my family here. But when the end came it was no problem at all to take time off and to travel. Except for one flight who wanted to bump us so that we'd miss a funeral. Airlines suck. But we got there anyway. And in retrospect I could've done that any time to visit and spend time well before it was too late. I just didn't. That's my one big regret in life that I can't let go of. So if there's anything I would advise people to do, it's this. If you get along with your family, make time for them while you can. Even if it means difficult travel and burning a vacation that you'd rather spend doing something fun. Do it while you can. Because all too soon, they'll be gone. And then it's just not an option anymore. Forever. Tell people to duck off when they have bullshit in your way. Mean it. I was way too old before I learned this lesson. Standing up for yourself doesn't make you a Karen. If somebody is trying to duck you with their ordeal, you don't have to take that shit. Sometimes it might seem like you do. Sometimes people will use threats or implied power to get one over on you. But if you are uncomfortable or some shit stinks, don't just sit and take it because you feel like you don't have the power. Life is short. When you're 20, it feels like 40 is really far off. After all, that's twice as long as you've lived. It's not. It's right around the corner, and even then, you're only halfway through your life. Take care of your body. You're tough now, but all that abuse will catch up with you. Drama is a success killer. If anyone, exclamation mark, has a habit of starting drama, drop them from your life now. No one is so important that they are worth being dragged down into that pit. Live off of less than 80% of your take-home pay if possible. Take 10% of that, drop it into savings and another 10%, and put it in investments. Have a plan. Doesn't matter what the plan is, and it doesn't matter if it changes. But make a plan. Don't just go through life day to day aimlessly doing what feels good in the moment. Decide what you want and go get it. You will stumble. Some people will call it failure, but as long as you keep moving forward, you're in better shape than most. Eat twice as many vegetables as you are now. I know you think you're eating enough, but you're not. And drink some water. For hydro's sake. Twice as many as 0 is 0. Damn. You found the loophole. Start saving for retirement. It's never too early, even a little bit helps. This, pay yourself first. Have money taken out of your paycheck and directly into your retirement funds before it even gets to your checking account. I guarantee you won't miss it, and the magic of compound interest over the 40+ years you'll be working will help it to grow into a nice little nest egg for your later years. As someone in their 20s, I have such a hard time with this. Save $2,000 per year and put it towards my 401k, which I cannot access until I'm old and my Alzheimer's has set in. Or go on vacation and enjoy my life while I'm young enough to actually enjoy it. Exercise regularly, not just for physical health, but for mental health too. Learn how to cook and eat healthy. You'll save money and your body will appreciate it. Cultivate your hobbies and find new ones. Lots of things can make us happy, but just consuming media gets old. Being creative can be really fulfilling. Seek out and/or retain social friendships. College is over, and you probably won't see a lot of those people very much anymore. Don't be afraid to look around for meetup groups or events in your area to meet new people. ____. Lots of people want to chime in about creating good spending habits and saving money/investing. So I'm just gonna rat that one here as well. Also, while I'm here, let's add being politically active as well. I didn't start caring about politics until my mid-20s. And I regret not having become more engaged early on. Regardless of how you plan on voting, check out vote.org link. Vote.org/ if you are an American citizen and aren't registered, or to check if you are too. Might be a little late at this point in the game, but I'm gonna shamelessly plug it anyway. I love everything you said. The only thing I would add is to further your education or refine your trade. You don't want to be working a minimum wage job at 30. Trust me, it sucks even more when you're older. Good addition. I'd lump that in with hobbies to some extent too. I went to school for engineering and used C++ in my job, but I learned Python on my own time outside of work for fun, and now it has enhanced what I'm capable of accomplishing professionally too. Quit smoking. But Snoop Dogg, I assume they mean cigarettes. Take chances. Someone you fancy? Ask them out. Want to try a new education path or hobby? Do it. Have trouble with anxiety/self-worth/past crappy experiences? Get a good therapist and work on it. Your 20s are the time you get to figure out who you are. Your 20s are the time you get to figure out who you are. Whoa. 19, you're here. I'll keep that in mind. If you don't want to get married to the person you're with, tell them. It's far better to have some hurt feelings now than to have severe regrets and a lot of legal fees later. Just listen to your gut. Stretch daily. Live your life the way you want to, not the way your parents tell you is best, and not the way society expects you to, unless that actually lines up with what you want. I spent way too much time doing what I thought were the right things or the best things, and I was actually miserable. Sometimes the things you think are the right or best things to do with your life are horribly empty and unfulfilling. I spent my time living the way I wanted to and rejecting a lot of society's expectations while pursuing joy and personal happiness, thinking this was the best way to live life. From personal experience, I wound up just as miserable, faster. Having personal, long-term goals that encourage you to live a certain way to pursue them is fulfilling in so many ways. Say you want to be a professional artist. It starts with building habits that encourage growth and creative practice. Then you'll want to be respected in your field, so you dress better, take care of yourself, and adjust the way you interact with others to grow professionally. Over time you develop skills and interests that help this pursuit, building networks with others, while gaining a sense of self-respect and self-care in the work you do. Live the way you want to, and become aware when the life you're living is not fulfilling enough for you. Be willing to change and grow. Forgive yourself when you fail. Far more regrets start with I should have than I shouldn't have. Apostrophe. Take chances. We clearly don't travel in the same social circles. Different strokes, man. Some people like stability, and some want to try every experience possible. If you want to do fun shit, do it in your 20s, when your body can handle it. But if you find comfort in predictability, work towards that in your 20s. Either way is fine, as long as it's what you want, and not just what you think you're supposed to do. In pushing 40, and my few regrets are things I wasn't able to do. Live your life. If you spend it worrying about what will be anyway, in worrying about regret you'll regret that. You're going to duck up and that's just how it is and is part of life, and you can be happy, well adjusted, and prosper in it. But never forget that living life does not mean speeding in a highway, smoking or drinking every day. People also need to know the difference. Create discipline. Find what your goals in life are and set steps to achieve them. Create a minimal workout regimen that you must do. Walk, push-ups, swim, pull up or by bathroom, whatever. Create a diet you want to adhere to. 21 meals a week. You can only do fast food / unhealthy restaurant 4 times or so many desserts a week or so many unhealthy snacks a day. Read whatever interests you. And always try to find unbiased, yeah right, articles, or at least read the side you disagree with too. Open your mind to feel empathy and know others live in this world. Learn a little more than basic math. Learn an instrument or a couple songs on bass / guitar / drums. Get into at least one sport. Last, but not least, learn another language. More if you can. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.